This is an aerial view of a transverse plane of the larynx. We can see that the thyroretinoid muscle, which stretches from the inferior thyroid cartilage to the anterior retinoid cartilage and serves to relax the vocal folds and control softer voicing. To the left is a cricothyroid muscle, which inserts to the thyroid cartilage. It is the only tensor muscle in the larynx, and it serves to tense the vocal folds for higher pitched, louder voicing. The posterior cricoretinoid stretches from the posterior cricoid cartilage to the arytenoid cartilage. It opens the vocal folds as well as the rima glottis. The lateral cricoretinoid stretches from the lateral cricoid cartilage to the arytenoid cartilage and adducts the vocal folds. Lastly, we see the oblique and transverse arytenoid muscles, which forms an X shape across the arytenoid cartilages and works as a sphincter to close them. This is an anterior view of the larynx. Here we see the trachea, which is the large tube that extends from the larynx and serves as a passageway for air going to and from the lungs. Surrounding the trachea is the cricoid cartilage, which functions as an attachment site for various muscles, ligaments, and cartilages. Connecting it to the thyroid cartilage is the cricothyroid ligament. The thyroid cartilage is superior to the cricoid cartilage and protects the vocal folds, forming what we call the Adam's apple or the laryngeal prominence. The thyrohyoid membrane spans from the thyroid cartilage to the posterior surface of the body of the hyoid bone, pictured here. The hyoid bone is located at the root of the tongue in front of the neck. The epiglottis, pictured right above the hyoid, is elastic cartilage at the entrance of the larynx. It covers the airway during swallowing, preventing food from entering. The laryngeal branch of the vagus, pictured here, splits into the superior laryngeal nerve in red and the recurrent laryngeal nerve in blue. The superior portion then splits into the external nerve and the internal, shown in yellow. Here we have a cross-section of the larynx. You can see here just how long the previously mentioned thyrohyoid membrane spans. Superior and inferior to that, you can see the hypoepiglottic ligament, which stretches from the anterior portion of the epiglottis to the upper border of the hyoid bone, functioning as a connective tissue. Above that is the valleculae, which functions to temporarily hold the saliva to block the swallowing reflex. The arpaglottic folds, labeled on the top right, are located at the entrance of the larynx and function to protect the airway during swallowing. Inferior to them are the vestibular folds, which play important roles in respiration, protection of the airway, and producing low-pitched sounds. The vestibular folds are superior to the vocal folds, which are essential for speech production. If we take a posterior view, we can identify the cricoid cartilage, which, as previously mentioned, surrounds the trachea. You also have a clearer view of the size of the thyroid cartilage and can see it as a very protective cartilage. Located inferior to the epiglottis is the laryngeal vestibule, which is the space that contains the vestibular folds. The vestibular folds provide protection to the larynx. The vocal ligaments are surrounded by the vocal folds. It aids in bearing tension in the vocal folds during the production of high-pitched sounds. Directly below that are the paired arytenoid cartilages, which aid in the movement of the vocal cords. This side view of the larynx identifies the paired cuneiform and paired corniculate cartilages. The cuneiform cartilages are on either side of the arpaglottic fold, superior to the arytenoids. They support the epiglottis and vocal folds. The corniculate cartilages open and close the glottis and articulate with the arytenoid cartilages.